Good morning, everybody. So, all right. Happy Valentine's Day weekend. The holiday where half of you are in love, a quarter of you are pretending you care, and the last quarter is one seen at 2:11 a.m. away from starting World War III. And look, I I wanted to do a light Valentine's Day stream, but the internet has been doing what the internet always does, turning romance into ideology. So today I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about why men and women are not getting along. Why people are so damn grumpy during Valentine's Day, because there's a fucking lot of them. I know you all have seen them. And you ones that do it, you know who you are. And why some dudes are getting pulled into this women are the enemy spiral. Right? And yes, this is going to be funny, but it's not a joke. So, the Gulag meter. So, a guy named Nick Fuentes, this online political streamer, he went viral this week saying women are basically the number one political enemy and talking about imprisoning women in breeding gulags. Yeah, that's what he said, verbatim. And let me say this clearly. That's not edgy. That's not based. That's fucking crazy. That's absolutely deranged. And I'm not bringing it up to give that oxygen. I'm bringing it up as a temperature gauge, as a meter of what is happening. Because when people can say stuff like that out loud, and a meaningful number of lonely, angry guys nod like, yeah, makes sense. That means that the relationship between men and women has become a sick ecosystem. That's the meter I want to talk about. That's the warning light on the dashboard that I'm seeing this Valentine's weekend. Like, man, if your dating plan sounds like a fucking Netflix documentary, you have lost the plot. Okay? Now, before we go deeper here, I'm setting the rules here. I'm not doing men are trash. I'm not doing women are demons. I'm not doing the solution is cages. I'm here for solutions. Real ones. Human ones. How did we get here? What the fuck is happening? What are people saying? What do people want to do? And fellas, if you felt invisible, rejected, humiliated, I'm not here to shame you either. I'm here to pull everyone back from the edge, okay? Because resentment is understandable, okay? But turning resentment into a political religion of how it is exactly how civilizations burn down, okay? Now, the lonely man reality, okay? Here's some data points. The Pew Research found that among adults under 30, 63% of men are single, compared with 34% of women. Okay? That's millions of men. All right? That doesn't mean women are dating twice as many, necessarily. The definitions vary. People interpret single differently. Like, you could be getting laid, but you're not in a relationship, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean it's all like incel people, as people say. And some analysts argue that this gap is probably smaller than 29 points, but whatever. But even if the gap is smaller, the vibe is very real. A lot of young men are not in relationships. Why? What's going on? And what happens when you have millions of men who feel locked out of intimacy? They become recruitable by rage merchants. Okay? It's like a gym membership scam, but for your soul. All right? It's a very dangerous situation. Now, here's the core mismatch. This is a whole intensity versus stability thing that's going on in our culture right now. And I want everybody to carefully consider this. A lot of modern dating has become intensity first, stability later, or never. And people chase that spike, man, constantly. I've seen it everywhere. At bars, at festivals, clubs. Chemistry, drama, status. And then people wonder why the relationship turns into a haunted house. See, women respond to edge, to swagger, to dominance cues. And people conclude women prefer predators. Look at the shit that they write. And women see men getting bitter and cynical, and they conclude men are unsafe. Then both sides retreat into their little echo chambers, and they start throwing memes around like fucking grenades. That's the gender cold war we're all in right now. Even if we are in stable relationships, we still got to put up with this shit from fucking everybody else. It's tiresome. So that's why I'm making this video. Alright, so the romance authors. Alright? A lot of men write romance like devotion and love. Okay? Like Shakespeare, Nicholas Sparks. And a lot of women author romance that goes off the fucking deep end. Like, we're talking rape fantasies and stuff here, guys. Banging monsters, vampires, pirates. Okay? And that goes viral with these coercion-coded, dark-themed, dark triad, narcissistic, Machiavellian, psychopathic men. Okay? What's going on here? Here's the best answer I can come up without dodging around this fucking taboo subject. Romance, as a market, is a heavily female readership. So women dominate both writing and buying. When a subgenre like this becomes huge, it will often be women writing it because women are the ones that want it. And these things arise in their mind. So dark romance works as a story engine. It's controlled danger. It's a taboo. It's a power exchange. It's being chosen by the high status, important man. The intensity, but without any of the real world risks or rejection. And here's the psychological key here. The forced coercive rape framing can function as a shame bypass. Okay? What do I mean by that? I mean, it's a way that women can explore desire without feeling, I'm bad for wanting this. Now, we can explore, why that is even in the blood of women. Like, why is that even a thought that arises? I can make a whole other video about that if you guys want or are interested in a topic like that. But it's often this shame bypass for having these natural thoughts, feelings, fantasies. There was a poll done on college women indicating that 63% of them had rape fantasies. So it's not necessarily the women want harm. They dream about it, but if they want to enter into it, they want to do it in a safe way with somebody that they trust. They want intensity, surrender, overwhelming desire by the men that's almost uncontrollable. Kind of like I think it was accurately portrayed in that Nosferatu movie with Lily Depp. This concept of a vampire being so obsessed with you that it will die in the sunlight while it's banging you just because it needs you that much. this desire that's destructive to men is intoxicating to women. So it's basically, I want a monster, but like a monster with a bedtime routine. Okay, hope that clears that up. All right, but you know what's the rape fantasies? What gives here? What is going on? Let's do a little fact finding first. There's a systematic review in the sex research literature that reports 31 to 57% of women on a regular basis have these forced sex fantasies. And about 9 to 17% of women report them as very frequent and their favorite. So there's something going on here. Another study in an undergraduate sample found 62% reporting having at least one fantasy about it. Now, here's the key line that saves us from all going fucking insane and thinking crazy stuff. Fantasy content is not a policy proposal, okay? Fantasy content is not consent to have these things done, okay? Fantasy content is not a desire to be harmed in real life. You know, kind of like how we're playing video games as the Doom guy. What do you really want to face a horde of demons that are going to eat your face off potentially? No. No man wants to be put in that situation unless absolutely necessary. Okay, so why does it exist? This rape fantasy stuff. Because arousal systems are weird. They can combine taboo, danger, surrender, being intensely desired, relief from responsibility, and even humiliation, as strange as that may be to people out there in the world. And fiction role play can create the feeling of losing control inside of an environment that's actually maximum control. Like they kind of go over that a little bit in Star Trek with Orion's slave girls. So maximum control with boundaries, safe words, and trust. Yeah. Sounds crazy if you say it like, pretend to violate me, but don't violate me. I get it. But that's literally what simulation is. We simulate danger all the time for adrenaline. At haunted houses, horror movies, roller coasters, boxing, paintball, spicy food that hurts but we pay for it anyway. Humans seem to be the only animal that will pay money to be scared, burned, humiliated, emotionally devastated, and then call it a fucking great night. We're weird. So, now let's touch on another landmine here, because that's what I'm doing. I'm stepping on every fucking landmine, every little fucking thing that is going to make both sides of the aisle upset, and that's my job. That's my goal. I'm trying to figure it out and figure a way forward. So, here's this landmine. Women choosing bad men and multiple baby daddies. Yeah, I told you it was a landmine. So, we have to do denominators cleanly here. There is a research brief from Fragile Families study focused on births in the U.S. cities of about 200,000 people, and it finds that among mothers in that sample, women that have multiple baby daddies, among the teenager age group is 12%. It's 32% when you get to women aged 20 to 24. And then it gets to 45% among mothers 25 to 29. And that's real, and that is significant, because that is way different than several generations ago, where that number was 19% altogether through 18 to 40. But it's, it's not all everybody. It's just these people in these studies. But that gives us a significant correlation and figure to work with. It's mothers in a specific design that is mostly unmarried parents in large cities. Nationally, the phenomena is everywhere. But The headline numbers look a little different. So with higher prevalence among disadvantaged groups, of course, like poorer people and whatnot, this number correlates. So what's the truth here? This pattern cluster in certain environments, and it creates real downstream consequences for kids and community stability, and it's part of the whole underlying resentment that builds up within people. It's not accurate to universalize everybody into this category, but it is a rising issue showing an absolute instability of modern families where kids often have no idea what the fuck is going on. Because, another thing that we have to also consider here is you can't just look at it through this solely, because that's just looking at the loudest disaster on Facebook. We're trying to study the whole ecosystem and not just through the lens of a car crash. So what's the real villain here? What's the real problem? I think part of it is confusing dominance with harm. I think that's a massive one that has been fought on feminist fronts for a very long time. Here's the part that actually I think matters, and the part that prevents the Gulag meter from men, because this is millions of men. This isn't something that just happened overnight. All of this animosity and rage inside of people coming out around Valentine's Day. Women aren't seeking predation, okay, as a moral preference. They're often selecting signals that correlate with confidence, social dominance, fearlessness, competence, and above all, status. And some men package those signals with manipulation and harm, right? They don't want to be a mean guy. They want to be a nice guy. So men watch this and think the lesson is, I need to be cruel. Okay? They get a little turned around, confused on these things. And that's where everything fucking collapses. Okay? Because cruelty can generate short-term intensity with women. It works. I have seen it work. It works. But it destroys the possibility of love and long-term trust. So the real cultural project is this: uncoupling strength from harm. Okay? We need to work on this. Make strength sexy again. Make cruelty embarrassing again. Okay? Like, I hear a lot of these rap songs that are terribly cruel. Yet, I see many women out upon the dance floor shaking thy ass. So, you have to wonder, what is up with that? What's going on? It's confusing for people. So, what's the third path here? What do we do? All right, here's the third option that's besides everything is fine and we don't need to change anything and everybody should just la-di-da go on with listening to degrading music and degrading themselves and calling that liberty. And we definitely don't want to do the gulags, and we definitely don't want to do the bitter, resentful bullshit either. So for men, here are some real steps. Stop being the fucking nice guy. Cut it out. Doesn't work. Women don't like it. They never have. Instead, be a good man that's capable of being dangerous. Okay? That should be your standard. Build real attractiveness, physical health, social confidence, boundaries. That's a big fucking important one. Competence. Learn a fucking skill. Find your purpose, man. Find your North Star. What are you doing? And this is the most important paramount part. Okay? So solve a lot of these problems. Stop chasing women who reward chaos. Cut it out. Don't do it. You're not proving masculinity by doing that. You're training your nervous system to accept disrespect. Okay? So just think of it like this. You're not here to be chosen by chaos. You're here to build a life with someone who can build too. All right? Now for women. Women need to learn the difference between intensity and safety. Intensity versus safety. Chemistry versus compatibility. Dominance versus danger. If your type keeps producing pain, it's not men, it's a pattern. And patterns can be healed. So think of it like this. Surrender is beautiful only with someone trustworthy. Figure out who those trustworthy people are. And I mean really figure it out. Because, women do have a higher price to pay than men with intimacy. Now for the culture, the big fix. Rebuild real-world ecosystems, okay? We need some community spaces where people can meet, where people can talk, where they can either become friends or not friends. We need mixed-gender friend groups. Events where people can meet as human beings instead of profile cards, man. And consistent norms that shame coercion no matter who does it. Because when people are isolated, they get weirder. When people are together, they get calibrated, right? And that's what we're all doing right now in this political climate. We're all isolating, finding our tribe, resonating our resentment. Touch grass, but, emotionally. Yeah. All right. I'm going to ask you all a real question. What do you think is driving the gender cold war the most right now? Is it apps? Is it porn? Is it the economics? Is it trauma? Is it social media? Is it our culture itself? Is it just fucking sick and gotta go? Now keep it respectful in the comments. I want fucking World War III down here. I want to solve this. I want to fix it. I want to understand it without a bunch of brazen emotion. That's not going to help anybody. It'll just push us further along to the cliff. All right. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Love is still real. And no, your dating frustration does not justify building a big prison. You all have a wonderful Sunday.